Alright, we're over here in Louisville. I got the new truck. I got everything took care of. Got all the decals put on. I passed my Mercer inspection. First go around, which is pretty impressive. Just kind of been a hectic last couple of days. I picked the truck up on Tuesday evening. And then I drove over to Louisville Wednesday. Today's Friday. Yesterday was Thursday. I started my inspection process to get the truck inspected. I ordered decals. They had already took care of my license plate and registration, so that was good to go. So everything went pretty quick. So I know everybody's anxious to go take a look at the truck. Like I said, I'm kind of excited. So let's go outside and we'll take a look at the truck. And then once we're done, we'll come back inside, take a look around inside the truck. But let's go outside. Okay, let's take a look. We bought a 2013 Peterbilt 386. Has a pack car motor in it, MX-13, 455 horsepower with a 13-speed transmission with 3.36 gears. So it has long legs, and it is on 22.5 tall rubber, 11R 22.5. It's a good running truck. All right, let's take a look. Now, one thing to remember, this is a used truck. It's got 500,000 miles on it. It does have a few battle scars, and it's not perfect, but it did fit my price range of what I wanted to spend. And I know I had said $42,000 in the other video, but it was actually $43,000. I did get a 1-year 100,000 mile warranty, which was another $4,500 on top of that. So total out of the door price was $47,500. So my payments are right at $1,000 a month. So worked out pretty good. All right, so it's like I said, it's got a little bit of a battle scar, a little scratch on the mirror right there. It's not quite as shiny. Chrome's a little faded right there. It's got one little nick right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over kind of the negative first, and then we'll go over the positive. So back here, and back here everything's fine. And this is supposed to be a greaseless fifth wheel. It's an aluminum greaseless fifth wheel. I know it's painted black right now, but got good rubber. But let's see, I know I was going to talk about kind of the bad right now. Now, this was the one thing that I had to think about long and hard. That's the DEF tank, the diesel exhaust fluid tank. And it is on, I don't want to say the wrong side, but it is on the passenger side of the truck. And I kind of had to think hard and long if I could deal with that. And that is one of the reasons why this truck was a little less money, was because of that DEF tank being on the wrong side. But I think I can deal with it. It is a very large DEF tank, so it won't need to be filled all the time, every stop. But I think I can deal with it. And like I said, for the money, it worked. So let's see. Other than that, on the outside, I mean, it has a couple battle scars, but for the most part, it is a pretty clean looking truck. So, all right, now that we've kind of gone over the negative, let's go over the positive. First off, it's a Peterbilt. And I'm stepping back so you can get an idea of the wheelbase. It's a Peterbilt. It's got the big motor. Now, I was on a toss-up between a pack car and Cummins, and actually a Cummins motor costs more money, so I kind of went to the pack car. My budget was $1,000 a month. That's what my budget was for a truck payment. So that was one of my reasons that I kind of had to lean towards pack car. The Cummins would have put me up just a little bit higher than what I wanted. Now the sleeper is a little bit smaller. This is a 63-inch sleeper. The sleeper on the other truck is a 70-inch sleeper, but it's doable. It's not that much difference, and just have to downsize a little bit. It'll hold, this is 150 gallons on this side, got 80 gallons on the other side, so it's 230 gallons. I think that's right in my head real quick. So it'll hold 230 gallons of diesel. Now the other thing, the main thing that I like about this truck, I wanted an aerodynamic truck. You know, I wanted with slope nose, aerodynamic, but I did not want skirting on the truck. So you know, that kind of limited the selection out a little bit. I just did not like the skirting on trucks. It seems like the skirting wears out over time, so that was one reason why I did not want skirting. And I did not want rear exhaust because I wanted room for my headache rack. So let's see. So as you can see, this truck, let me step back a little bit. As you can see, this truck has a long wheelbase, so there's a lot of room between the back of the cab to the wheels, and there's plenty of room for my headache rack, and then that way too, if I haul a load that has to hang over the front a little bit, there's plenty of room for that. So that was another key thing that I was looking for, was a little bit longer than standard wheelbase, and as you can see, this one met the criteria perfect. Let's see here, had good rubber. Almost nearly new tires all the way around, so that was another thing that I was looking for. I wanted new virgin rubber, and when I use the word virgin, that means no recaps. I did not want any recaps. It's because the last thing I want to do is put out money for a down payment on a truck, and then 2 or 3 months later have to put out money for tires. So that was one thing that I was looking for, was that I wanted almost new or new tires. Extra toolbox right here. Now if you look, this is where my generator is going to get mounted, is right here. So I'm going to take this toolbox off and mount my generator right there. And then this here is a little 80-gallon fuel tank, and I believe this DEF tank, I want to say, is 20 or 23 gallons for the diesel exhaust fluid. So and that's something new that I'm going to learn to deal with, but I'm sure I'll be able to handle it, you know, figure out what I need to do. But like I said, for the price, for what we're getting, pretty good shape, pretty good. The lettering, I just got the lettering done, and actually if you look, I don't know if it'll show up in the camera, it got a little bit of a glittery shine to it, which isn't bad. I like it, I like it. And it is the same kind of design. Now here we're allowed to put any kind of design of the logo that we want. I wanted the same kind of design as the old truck number on the hood, on the door, and then I like to have my VIN and DOT down at the bottom there. Now we're going to stop over in Joplin, Missouri at the either 4 States or the other one, and I'm going to get those little chrome, there's a little chrome square that sticks right there, and I'll put my IFTA sticker right on there. So you know, and there's some places that, you know, it's kind of lost its shine a little bit down here on the exhaust, but you know, a couple of the lug nut covers are missing, but that's minor stuff. That's minor stuff. It is a brand new bumper. They did put a brand new bumper on. Now I had to put my license plate on the grill because there's no holes in the bumper, and I'm gonna have to drill holes in the bumper for the license plate. So I'm gonna wait till I get home to do that so I can do it properly and take my time and do it right. Let's see, on the outside here, dual stacks, you know, so it still has that classic look to it with the dual stacks. You know, it's just a little more aerodynamic. Now this truck should get, the lifetime fuel average on this is a little over 7 miles a gallon. So, you know, my old truck would barely get about 4.5 to 5. So, you know, the amount of fuel savings on this truck should actually equal my truck payment. So, and then like I said, it's got a little bit, and this was the key thing that I was looking for, was I wanted a little longer wheelbase. And for people with wheelbase is measured, let me back up here a little bit. Wheelbase is measured from the center of the front wheel to the center of the drives. So right in the center there. So you measure from the center of the tandem axles to the center of the front axles. And this one is 250 inches. My other truck at home, I believe, is 270, 275, I believe. So it's just a little bit shorter, but it does have a long stance, and I do like the way it looks. So let me pop the hood, and we'll take a look at the motor, and we'll look at the pack car motor. So let me get the hood open, and I'll be with you guys in just a minute. All right, we got the hood up. Let's take a look at the pack car motor here. Now, I did a little bit of research on the pack car motor. This motor originated from Europe. I get a lot of people from Europe watching my videos, and a lot of guys, you know, said that I should not have too many issues with it. That it was a pretty good motor. And I'll be honest, I am nervous about the pollution control stuff, but you know, that's just something that I have to learn to deal with. And you know, the warranty does cover the pollution control stuff for the first year, first 100,000 miles. So hopefully whatever is going to go wrong will go wrong. It did have a DEF filter, what's the word, it cleaning, so it had that done. So everything went through with the pollution control stuff, so hopefully shouldn't have an issue anytime soon. But all right, let's take a look. Truck had new air conditioner fixed, new idler arm, new fan hub. Everything looks fairly clean. This truck, I've never had a truck that has air ride front suspension. So this truck's got air ride front suspension, and I believe, yes, this truck has air disc brakes on the front. So that's a big difference from what my truck has. But they had to fix the washer bottle and get that fixed. But everything else, you know, and then I looked too, this is the original hood. You can just tell this original hood, so that means it wasn't an accident. And I did pull up the Carfax on this truck. I did a Carfax on the VIN number before I bought it to make sure that it had not been involved in an accident. And once again, replace the idler arm on this side here. So and here, maybe that's a better view of the front air ride suspension. So you can see this is the leaf spring right here, and then it's got two airbags for the front, and it's not that bad. You know, it's not woo 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 like this. It actually rides pretty good. Now, I have not had a trailer on it, but bobtailing it, you know, it's not that bad so far. So now here we go. Here's all the pollution control. So we got your turbo here. And honestly, I don't know all the names of all this stuff, the proper names, and it will be something that I will learn. I do know the oil filters are right there. That's a coolant filter. So, and then the fuel filters are on the other side. But you know, I got a lot of comments about the pollution control, and you know, it's just something that you have to learn to deal with and work with, and most of what I've read, as long as you keep up on the maintenance, the preventive maintenance, you should not have a major issue. So so that's the motor there. And so far, you know, I'm bobtailing, so it's really hard to get an idea of fuel mileage, but I'm getting 9 almost 10 miles a gallon on bobtailing. So you know, so far so good. But I am anxious to hook it up to a trailer and hook it up to a heavy load, and see what we can get for fuel mileage. But you know, like I said, sleeper's just a little bit smaller. So all right, let's go inside. I'll show you the dash and the gauges and everything, and we'll take a quick tour inside the truck. All right, we are up in the cab of the truck. Now, let me see if I can step back and see if you guys can get a better view The cab area, actually the cab is the same space wise as the old truck. Now the layout on the dash and the doors are a little different, but the width of the cab and the height of the cab, let's see here, you can see the ceiling is the same as the old truck. So and I like the idea of having the front part of the truck and then the sleeper part of the truck. Now let me see this, and this is different than my other truck. My other truck did not have a big sleeper door, so this has a big sleeper door that you can open, and I open it up, let a little bit light in here, so you can see the sleeper in here. The bed, I don't know if you guys can see it or not. There it goes. The bed's a little bit wider. And you know, it doesn't have my, you know, custom cabinets and stuff like that, but it does have these cabinets here, and I got a little bit of food up in there already, and then got the cabinets over here, refrigerator. So it and then I'm gonna put a microwave up here, or down here somewhere. I'll put a microwave in here. Probably might put the microwave here. I don't know where I'm gonna put the TV yet, to put a flat screen TV. I haven't quite figured out. Now there is a metal plate right here, so maybe I can put a mount here and hang a flat screen TV right here. So I haven't quite figured out the TV situation yet, but it does have, I'm going to move around slowly so you don't get dizzy. It's got these closets here, and I've already bought, I don't know if you can see it, I already bought the little plastic, there we go, little plastic shelf thing, put my clothes in, and some jeans. So, you know, I've already kind of made it a little bit like home. But you know, it's pretty clean. I bought a nice bedspread and sheets already. So all right, let's go to the front. So like I was saying, I like having the back part of the sleeper, or the back part of the truck, and then the front part. So this is the office up here, this is the office, and this is the house. So and I like it like that. So I do like having the separate compartments. So let me stand back from the dash here, and hopefully you guys can see it there. But so it's got a nice gauge layout, plenty of gauges, which is what I was looking for. This right here is a navigation screen. I'm going to turn that on here and show you that for a second. That right there is my pre-pass. The truck did come with leather seats. It does have leather seats, and they're not too bad. And I'll tell you what I've already done, and I owe this to my wife. I give her credit. That passenger seat was the driver's seat. Now, because one day in our old truck, and I think it was her truck, we were talking about changing the seats around, and she says, well, why don't you just change the bottom cushion, because that's the one that's flat. Let me pull that up. And so you pull it up, and there's 4 bolts right down there. You just undo those bolts, put the new bottom on, and voila. So that bottom was on the passenger seat, that bottom was the driver's seat. So I've already changed that around. That the driver's seat pretty well worn out. But all right, let's take a look here. Eventually I'm going to change the steering wheel. I might even get the old steering wheel out of my truck and put it in here. So all right, I'm going to turn the keys on so you can see everything light up. Now this has a little information screen right here, and then it also has this little information screen is a navigation, radio, all kinds of stuff. So let me turn the truck on and you guys can watch the little things light up here. Let me get the right angle. There we go. You ready? Here we go. All right, so it's going through its little process, ding-dinging, checking everything, and there it goes. All right, now as you can see, it's got $494, almost $495. So and then it's got a total of 15,000 idle hours, which technically works out to about 33 miles an hour, give or take, which is about right for the number of hours. So it's not excessive idle hours, but you know, it's not bad. So gauges, we got oil pressure, coolant temperature, battery, fuel gauge. Now my truck had a switch. I only had one fuel gauge, but I had a switch that would show the level in each tank. This one here, it does not have a switch for each tank, so I'm assuming it levels it out and reads that. So anyway, fuel gauge, primary air, secondary air. We'll come over here, if you can see, battery amps. Now I've never had a gauge for the amps. Now I got a voltage gauge over here, but I've never had an amp gauge. So we got battery amps, rear axle temperature, that's the drive axle, the front axle temperature for the front drive axle, oil temperature, engine oil, manifold pressure, diesel exhaust fluid level. And then this gauge right here is suspension load gauge. Now this measures the pounds per square inch. Now if you remember, I had a gauge in my other truck that would tell me what the pounds, the equivalent of, so 18, 20, 30,000 pounds. And I have already, let me get it here, I've already bought the new gauge, so it's called right weight. So this gauge, and because this is already plumbed for the pounds per, for the load suspension, this gauge here is just a matter of hooking up the air line that's hooked to this one and replacing this gauge with this gauge, and then this gauge will give you an accurate reading of the number of pounds that is on the rear suspension. So which comes in very handy. So I'm going to do that when I get home. Transmission temperature, and this is the number of pounds applied for brake pressure. Air suspension drop, fifth wheel slide. Now my other truck did not have a sliding fifth wheel. This one has a sliding fifth wheel, but hauling flatbed, rarely do I ever slide the fifth wheel. And this is the power divider lock for the rear axles. So navigation screen, see if you can see a little bit of it. And this is a pretty nice setup. It's got Bluetooth, but the audio quality of the Bluetooth for the phone isn't that great, so I will just continue to use my headset. But it got a button here, press truck, it'll show you the gauges of so it'll show you the manifold pressure, the amount of horsepower, not the amount of horsepower, but how much horsepower the engine is producing, and the amount of how much torque, if it's, you know, how the percentage of torque that the engine is producing. So we got that gauge. So this is a nice little feature. I really like this, and this is powered by Garmin. It got a diagnostics, so diagnostics, if there's any faults or codes, will show up in this screen right here. So this is good right here. Let's see here, audio. This has the Sirius XM, and I've already oops, sorry about that. Let's see, let me turn it down. I've already transferred my subscription from the old truck to this truck here, so I've activated this radio on here. Let's see here. Let me go back to the home. So we got audio, tools. This is just basic. Got a calculator, alarm clock, calendar. Video, I believe this has the ability to hook up an outside camera to watch, like an outside camera on here. It's not hooked up. Let's see, audio, navigation, just like a GPS. Now this is a truck GPS. So you enter the dimensions of your truck, 102.13.6, and this calculates truck routes. My old GPS was a car GPS, and it did not calculate truck routes. So and then I'm going to update the GPS needs to be updated, so I'm going to do that when I get home. This right here is part of this system here. This here's the Regen button. See if you can see it. I'm learning about that. This truck did come with, there's all the manuals. It did come with all the manuals. I have read through some of them already. CB mounts there. Let me get back down to here. Manual or auto engine fan control. This is the Jake brake, or their version of the Jake brake. Works similar, on, off, and then it has 3 settings. 1, 2, 3. Just like when I was talking in my old video coming down that hill, where I had 3 settings if I didn't need full Jake brake or full engine brake power. So got that. Cruise control, and then this knob here controls the data display for the console on the dash there. It says diagnostic, no faults found. Alright, so that's a quick tour of the truck. Got power windows, power door locks. Already made my extra key and hid it on the truck. You know, remember, that's my trucker tip. So we got about I think it's 1,600 miles or 1,800 miles home. I can't remember. So today's Friday. We're gonna start heading home. Oh, let me show you here. Hang on one second. I've already got, you can see it right there. I've already got the little black box hooked up. Now they mounted it a little different. Actually, it's not mounted. It's just kind of laying on the floor. But it is hooked up the same way. Come over here, open the door. The data port is right there, and they've hooked it up behind the data port, so it's hooked up the same way as the other little black box was, and it's working fine. And so where was I? So we're gonna start heading home. Today's Friday, so hopefully we'll get home Sunday. I got some stuff. I got to mount the license plates on the bumper. I want to see if I can get my generator mounted, but I do need to get to work fairly soon and start making some money. We'll be home on hopefully Monday, and then we're gonna stay around for probably till Friday. Start looking for a load. Spend some time with Teresa. So it's been haven't spent too much time with her. So all right, I hope you enjoyed a quick tour of the new truck. I'm excited. I think it's gonna do good for us. I think it'll be good. And the fuel mileage is the biggest thing. So but that's it. So all right, let me end it here because it's kind of turned into a long video. I'll end it here, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.